moving forward in the line, because we started with German, we go back on the German. This German submachine gun MP40, there's few pieces more iconic than this in the world. Everyone knows what this is. Obviously, everybody calls it a Schmeiser. It's not the Schmeiser. There's elements made by the Schmeiser company. As a matter of fact, later in the war, Schmeiser makes the MP41. But this is obviously being used in mass everywhere on all theaters of operations. This particular example of ours is dated 1942, so quite a good example. It is welded, as most of them will be these days. We do have two other examples, one of them with a sliding bolt, but you can extract the magazine, you can strip this one down. It's a great iconic submachine gun. Obviously the stock works as well. So the counterpart of this in the Soviet armed forces will be this. That's the PPS 43. There's a PPS 41 as well, the one with the drum magazine, which resembles in many people's minds the Tommy gun, but is not. They're quite different actually. But the PPS 43, this is very similar with the MP40 in the ways of look, on how it's designed, how it feeds. It's way more simple than the MP40. It has a ventilated barrel, it's all stamped metal, very simple to strip down. You push a button, really, this comes apart and you have access to the mechanism. Obviously, part of the bolt is missing because, again, it's decommissioned. But this is a very simple machine. Very smart. They made loads of them. Quite a lot of them were made in Leningrad. This particular example is actually a post-war one made by in Poland. It's dated 1952. They were used by all the Warsaw Pact countries alongside the PPS 41, because the Soviet Union, obviously, by the 1950s, they go on the AK-47. Not everywhere, but in a lot of the army branches, but this still remains today a weapon of war. They use it in Ukraine. And last but not least, on the submachine guns, we have the British Sten. Again, a very iconic submachine gun. It was used everywhere, cheap to make, really easy to strip down. Not the most reliable maybe all the time. Also, ammunition had issues. It used to jam a bit. Feeding system is not great, but it's an interesting firearm. It was made to be cheap, to be easy to produce everywhere, and it was issued in quantities. My understanding is that some soldiers, or quite a lot of soldiers, didn't like it, but it was what it was. So if that's what you get issued with, this is what you'll use. It has some smart features. You've probably seen this before. So, for example, when you put it in a crate, you can twist the magazine fed like that. So this will actually fit nicely here. Obviously, you push a button here, and then the stock drops as well. So it's quite a good piece of kit. And we go last on our presentation to the iconic rifles. We have quite a lot of these, different models, different makers. This is a 1944 dot variant. This has the later reinforced stock. It's a bolt action rifle. This is basically the main rifle that was issued to the German forces throughout the war. It's a reliable weapon. It was much liked by the troops. Obviously, by the end of the war, it had its limitations. It will be surpassed by all sorts of other weapons, but it remained in production pretty much to the end. The counterpart in the Soviet army is this, the Moisina gun rifle, 5-round rifle as well. This is a design of the 1890s. This is obviously the modified variant, because they altered the patterns through the years. It's not exactly the same pattern as the 1890s, There's some modifications, there's some things that were simplified, but basically this is the one of the main firearms of the Soviet armed forces, beside the submachine guns, the PPS-41 and the 43. There's SVTs, which actually I didn't brought to this video because that goes to the sort of a semi-automatic, so it's more modern types of firearms. But basically this is the backbone of the Soviet armed forces in terms of armament. And last but not least, we have the Lee Enfield. Well, actually it's the rifle number 4 Mark 1. That's the designation. Everybody knew the old SMLEs. The SMLEs are still in use with the Mark III throughout the Second World War. We have examples of those as well. But again, there was no point really to show you those as well, because it's pretty much the same rifle with some modifications in the realm of like how the end of the muzzle looks like. It takes the 1907 bayonet. This takes the short spike bayonet, which will be fitted eventually to other weapons as well. There will be a variant of bayonet for the number 4, which will be actually knife bayonet rather than a spike bayonet. The knife bayonet continue to be used in other shapes with different types of grips for other weapons, like the jungle carbine. We do have a jungle carbine here. I'll make a special episode about that and more sort of awkward firearms, more specialized firearms. But basically this is the Lee Enfield. It has a 10-round magazine. It's a rapid fire. The system on this one is slightly different than the system on the other two, because they are the bolt arms when you unlock it, so that's when the bolt is cocked. With the Lee Enfield, the bolt is cocked when you lock the bolt. That's why that sort of a spring feeling when you have to actually push quite hard, whilst on the other ones you don't, there's no spring. The advantage of this system is rapid fire. Less safer than the other ones, but it's rapid fire nevertheless. The German bolt, for example, has 3 locking logs, so that means that in case of an explosion in the chamber, there's more chances that the bolt will not pull out. But you can't have everything. You have to have to choose between maybe speed and in this case also a bigger magazine with more rounds and safety. I don't know exactly statistically how many exploded or such. I never looked into this. You can always have a look and leave us a comment about it if you know more about this. But yeah, these and way more are in our collection, so you can pop in anytime and have a look, or look on the website and see them. If I'll ask my colleague Alistair to do a short kind of image from, see, because there you can see a Maxim, and well, it's an MG53, which is basically the rip-off for the MG42, and we have a lot of heavy pieces, and we'll do a video about them later on, and probably something very interesting, and you can let us know if you want to see. We do have rangefinders, so if you're interested in seeing a rangefinder and how it looks and how it works closely, leave us a comment and we can always go into that and have a look for you. Thank you very much, and see you next time.